Hickory and work with our Hickory programs and some of our Columbia programs as well. So welcome. Jeanette, I think you're up next.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jeanette McKee, Director of Student Accounts, and I produce statements for all 3 campuses. Our office processes payments. We help with payment plans. So if you have any questions about your charges or discounts or anything related to paying for your classes, just let us know. And we work very closely with the financial aid office. So I'll turn it over to Jacqueline.
Hey everybody, I'm Jacqueline Henry. I am a financial aid counselor here in Hickory. I work mainly with the federal and the private loans, as well as just a plethora of all things financial aid. And then I'll turn it over to my colleague, Melody.
Hey everybody, I'm Melody Laney. I work in financial aid. Basically, I do a whole lot of everything except for the loans, which Miss Jacqueline is so gracious to take care of. I know that probably a lot of you have spoken with my former coworker, Beth Miller, but she was a retired elementary school teacher and decided to go back to teach elementary kids. So she's no longer with us, but Jacqueline and I will take care of you the best that we can. So feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.
All right, y'all. And what we usually do is just make it kind of an open session. So if y'all have got a question, just go ahead and unmute and jump on in. I'll be running the chat too. So if you want to just type your question in the chat, then we can also look at that and see if your question's there too. So just get started. And if y'all don't have questions right away, then we could also have Jeanette go ahead and talk about, student accounts, or we could just let Jacqueline or Melody jump on in and start talking FAFSA and loans and all of that. So all of our acronyms are going to be coming up. So yeah, does anybody have a question they want to start off with? Or is everybody here just to...
Hi.
Oh yeah.
I have a question. So I was wondering, when you're filling out your financial aid application, it asks, it says Lenoir-Rhyne in North Carolina, and I was wondering, was it counting me as a out-of-state student? Because I'm going to the Columbia campus, so I was wondering, like, was I an out-of-state student, or how would I know?
Well, no, are you an OT student?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So no, your tuition is the same for in or out of state. All of our financial aid is processed here in Hickory. So you want to make sure that you do send it to the Hickory campus. So it doesn't change your tuition at all, being
Okay.
in or out of state. Yeah. Does that help?
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All righty. And are y'all seeing the questions in chat from Rowan about the disbursement?
Okay, no, I didn't see that. Let's see.
Okay, yeah. All right. So disbursement, and also how do you use the loan funds to buy books? So
Okay. For grad students, it's a little bit different than undergrads. I encourage all of our grad students to enroll in electronic deposit, e-refund, and we can produce or provide a $500 advance directly into your checking account for books. Normally, that's the most that we disperse unless there's some kind of emergency. But because financial aid doesn't disperse to our office until September the 7th, you're not going to get your full refund until anywhere from 5 to 14 days after that date of disbursement. The federal government allows us 14 days to produce it, but if you're going to be receiving a large refund over $2,000, then we have a 3-step approval process. So I can't produce those e-refunds as soon as they come into our office. So it does take several days to do so. So if you will email me prior to the beginning of the semester, no more than a month ahead, then I can provide that $500 advance for you. Okay, and was there another question?
Can you go over the disbursement process?
Sure. The loan disbursement is automatic. Once you have completed all of your loan documentation at studentaid.gov, then each semester, and after you have done your FAFSA, each semester that loan is going to disperse automatically to your student account. As I said, it's going to be after the drop add period. In the fall, it's going to be September the 7th. But you don't have to do anything. Once you've done your documentation, you don't have to do anything for that to happen. And if you are enrolled in electronic deposit refund, we will process that refund within a few days automatically as well. If you're not, and I urge you all to enroll in direct deposit. If you're not, we produce a paper check, but those typically aren't mailed until 14 days after the date of disbursement. So it could be another week before you receive your refund. Electronic refund is fast, it's secure. We're always having checks lost in the mail and getting stale dated, and the students need this money and can't get their hands on it. So, okay, how do you enroll in the electronic refund? When you log into your MyLR, the self-service portal, choose the Finance tab, and then Manage Student Account. And if you scroll down a little bit on the overview page, it's going to say, do you need to enroll in direct deposit refund? And you need the routing number for your bank, which you can Google if you don't know it, and your account number. Just make sure that you enter the correct information. I will not be able to see all of your account number, so I can't verify if it's correct. But when you key it in, it asks you to confirm it. Just go over it and make sure that you're not transposing any numbers, because we don't want your refund going to someone else. And then if you need to do that at least 3 or 4 days prior to me dispersing any money into your account, because that third-party provider, Transact CashNet, does need to verify that it's a legitimate bank.
All right, and did y'all see the question about loan deferment? I guess if you're paying back undergrad loans, perhaps at this point, how does that work? Do they need to notify the lender? Yeah.
I think that's automatic, isn't it, Melody? The LR, the registrar's office, does an enrollment verification after the drop add period.
Yes, that is correct.
Right.
And then after the what we call the 10-day snapshot, they notify the clearinghouse of the students that are enrolled in the hours that they're enrolled, who in turn notifies the lenders that the students are enrolled, so they do go into deferment. It's my understanding, yes.
Yeah. And I would say if the student does get an email from a lender, then you can just respond and say, no, I'm in grad school, but know that the school will be confirming that.
All right, all these are good questions. Any more questions?
Hi, I have a quick follow-up on the electronic refund.
Mhm.
If I'm just using the loans to cover tuition and I've let y'all know that, so you know the amount to disperse for me, do I need to do the electronic refund, or is that, if I'm just using it for tuition, do I still need to do that?
I urge students to do it anyway, because normally it's pretty clear cut. The loans do have a loan origination fee that's pretty small, and Melody and Jacqueline probably know to the penny what that is. But if if you drop classes, or if you're over awarded $5 or $10, then we want to get that money back to you as quickly as possible. If you don't feel comfortable, that's fine. You know, I'm just saying that sometimes with different programs, there may be a very small credit left over. But that's your preference. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, then by all means don't. Yeah.
Thank you.
To kind of add to that, so I know we've gotten like e-bill statements over the last 2 months about like how much we would owe. And I was always under the impression that the loan servicer would pick that up. Is that correct? It's an
Jacqueline,
e-bill statement for my tuition and everything. It's what's worth for the entire semester that I apparently owe. And I just want to double check and make sure that eventually my loan servicer will pick that up, and I just don't have to worry about it in that statement. It's just letting me know how much that semester is going to be.
right, exactly. Yes, the statements that we produce, and you'll be getting another fall statement later today with anticipated aid, is just going to show again what your charges are, if you have any discounts, and then what your loan will be dispersed at, and if there's any balance. But again, that loan won't be dispersed until September the 7th. So at that time, Jacqueline, and jump in here, Jacqueline, Jacqueline will originate the loans, and disperse it here. But I don't think there's anything you have to do. Is that right, Jacqueline or Melody?
You mean, Jeanette, just clarify that there's nothing to do before that disbursement? Yeah, as long as all of the loan documents are needed for disbursement, then that loan will be good to originate and disperse on that September 7th disbursement day.
Right.
Okay. And that's just essentially us finishing all of everything on FAFSA and everything and having that finished up, right?
Yes, that's like the loan entrance counseling as well as the promissory note.
Okay, great. I already did that. Thank you so much.
All right, so I'm just looking at the questions in the chat. And there is parking passes. Is that for the Hickory campus? Travis, it looks like. I don't think that there's a fee for the parking passes, is there?
There is not,
Yeah,
there's not
okay.
for graduate students.
Yeah, all right.
There is a place in your portal where you can do the vehicle registration, the online vehicle registration. It will look like it's going to charge you as a graduate student, but you just keep clicking and you should not be prompted to enter any payment information. So Travis, if you have any issues, you can contact me directly, okay? But all of that was automated, so you really shouldn't have to come to campus to get that.
Yeah, on my portal right now, it just wasn't letting me buy a pass. I didn't know if they haven't opened up yet or anything.
It's possible. I'll make myself a note and I'll email the security office and check on it for you, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
And for Asheville, we'll just be giving those to y'all. If y'all come in, I just sent out a little reminder yesterday with a calendar link. So we're going to start making appointments for people to come in and get their ID photo taken. And then we can give you a parking pass at that time. So you don't need to fill out the registration information or any of that kind of stuff online. We'll take care of all that here for you. Okay. Let's see. Loan forgiveness. And yeah, the question is, can you speak to the loan forgiveness? And I'm guessing, Annette, is it OT maybe?
Oh, Annette's Postmaster's DMP.
DMP, yeah. Okay.
So probably the forgivable education loans for service.
Okay, yeah.
Jacqueline, do you have any details you can provide about that?
So for the loan forgiveness, that you won't apply for until you graduate, to my understanding, and have a job that qualifies for the FFELS. And so you'll apply for that loan forgiveness. You have to work in North Carolina for the number of years that you took out the FFELS. but that won't apply until after you graduate. So when it comes, the question says, can you speak to loan forgiveness and do you still recommend the electronic refund? Then yes, I would still recommend the electronic refund since that loan forgiveness doesn't qualify until after you graduate.
With FELS, I think I missed the cutoff date for that. When does that start up again? Isn't it next March?
So the application opens the first Monday in January, and the deadline for this year was March 1st. So I would assume that it would be March 1st for next year as well.
All right, wonderful.
Hi, so thank you for that. I was speaking with Beth, I guess, before she left, and it sounded like I did receive that loan, that it would deposit, I guess, the same time the financial aid. So I don't know, maybe I misunderstood.
Yeah, so for the FELS, we usually will receive a roster of the students who have received FELS sometime, I want to say, late August, early September before the disbursement, and we'll put that on the student's package. And then it'll, as long as we get it before that disbursement date, then it will disperse along with the rest of the loans. And if not, then it will disperse as soon as we are able to put it on the student's package.
Okay, and then I will see that in my account, I guess.
Jeanette, will they see that on the statement?
They will see it on the statement once you all receive the roster. Depending on when it's received, Annette, it could be like if it's after the September the 7th date, if it comes in on the 9th or the 10th, it may not be included in your initial refund, but we are processing refunds daily after that disbursement. So that next couple of weeks, we're trying to get all of those taken care of as quickly as possible. But if it doesn't come in prior to September the 7th, it could be at a later date that we're able to get it to you.
Thank you very much.
Congrats on getting that. That's excellent. So,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yes.
And if you didn't get it, if you applied for it and you were not a recipient this year, then you would go ahead and wait until January, apply before March, and then, yeah, I think you're notified usually in June, and then they let the schools know, like Jacqueline was saying, towards the end of August, early September. But so if you don't get it the first time, just keep trying. You never know. So,
And just to add to that, Jan, that application is one of that fund is one of those funds that does run out. So the earlier you apply, the better, just because they do run out of funds. So only a select amount of people will get that FELS. So don't wait until March 1st to submit that application.
So do it right away. Yeah. Do y'all send reminders out to folks or anything? Or
I usually will, during like these meetings, I will go ahead and tell students about it. I can work on doing a mass email for around that time if that's something that you think would benefit students, especially because I know they have a lot going on in graduate studies, but yeah.
yeah. Well, probably for the certain programs. So I guess FELS would basically cover, I know it's clinical mental health counseling. And then what else does it cover? Teaching, maybe?
Yeah. So going on to the NCSEAA website, they have all of the programs that FELS is eligible for. And I'm happy to send that to you, Jan, if that is something that you would like. I have it right here, and there is a lot of programs on it, but I do see clinical mental health, counseling, OT. There is a lot of education programs. So, and it applies for graduate and undergraduate. The amount is just different. So it just depends on what you're in. But a lot of like secondary education, it applies for the master's level.
All right, so that's the people in our teaching program. And am I correct in it does not include school counseling, correct? So,
correct. It does not include the school counseling, only the clinical mental health.
Okay.
And it also does not cover summer semesters, only fall and spring.
All right, excellent. Okay. Let's see what other questions. Yeah.
And Bailey said, I haven't received my financial aid yet. When will I know how much I was awarded? I looked in the financial aid. I didn't see you, Bailey. Have you completed your FAFSA yet?
Yes, ma'am. I completed my FAFSA the week I was accepted into school. So that was back in June. Yes, ma'am.
Let me see. Let me add another E and see. And you had the information sent to LR?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Bailey, what's your last name? I'm sorry.
Cullum, Cullum.
Okay. All right. If you'll give me a second, I'm going to jump on the FAFSA website and see why we haven't.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
if you just excuse me for a few seconds, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Bailey, were you wanting just the unsubsidized grad loan, or were you applying for the grad plus loan as well?
I haven't applied for the Grad Plus loan specifically.
Okay.
I just kind of filled out FAFSA based on, yes, ma'am, my tax information just to kind of see what I would be awarded, and then maybe apply for some more loans. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, grad students, unfortunately,
Okay.
only get loans. I mean,
Gotcha.
there's no Pell or North Carolina need-based like you would receive as an undergrad student.
Okay.
Or so, the FAILs, the forgivable education, that's another one. But
Okay.
so typically it is the unsubsidized loan is $20,500, I believe, Jacqueline, for the year. And that can be split up summer, fall, spring, which is the way our academic year runs. And that would be
Okay.
about $6,700 a semester. Or if you have it divided between the fall and the spring, it's $10,141 when it's actually dispersed to
Okay.
our office. So the Grad Plus, I know you have to apply for and be approved. What program are you in, Bailey?
Occupational therapy.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Miss Bailey, I know that you're an AP student in the Columbia campus. Did you have your FAFSA sent to Columbia instead of Hickory?
I remember typing in Lenoir-Rhyne. I think it was a code, but I'm not sure now that I'm thinking about it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you'll go back into your FAFSA and add the school code 002941, then we can receive it here on the Hickory campus and process your financial aid here, because that's where
Okay.
the financial aid is housed, is here at the Hickory campus. And generally, when you do it on the FAFSA website, it takes them maybe a couple days to get it to us. And then once we do that, we can put your financial aid package together quickly.
Yes, ma'am. Sounds great. Okay.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, y'all. And was it Sydney? I think it was also asking who has received their award. So what are the next steps once they receive that?
Well, there is that loan documentation at studentaid.gov that needs to be completed. It's the loan entrance counseling and master promissory note. And I think that's all if it's just the unsubsidized loan.
Yeah, you're correct, Jeanette. And I have Sydney, we don't have those documents from you. So if anybody needs the instructions to go ahead and complete those documents, I'm happy to send that out. But just send me an email and let me know. But Sydney, I'll send you the instructions to complete those.
It's a little, I think, precarious at first, isn't it? When it's your first time doing this, and it's, filing the FAFSA and all of that. It makes me nervous every year. So every single year. But all right.
I just follow up on my question from earlier. about disbursement, and perhaps like some of the terminology has me confused with the direct deposit e-refunds. So are we initially sort of like charged or debited from our bank account to pay for the semester, and then we are refunded in loans, or?
Your loan will be applied to your student account charges first.
Gotcha.
And then say if your charges are $4,060 and your loan is $10,000, then we will apply it to tuition and any fees first and then send you the remainder. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, great.
So
Thank
you don't have to do, so you don't have to do anything once, once it's going to come to us first. And I guess that's the beauty of educational loans, is they want to make sure your tuition is paid first.
Great. Thanks.
Sure.
All right, Leanne, you had a question?
Yeah, it kind of fits well with that. So, but if I've told y'all, like, let's say I said I only want $4,060 of the loan, then you would just take that, or you would like tell the government, she just wants that, leave the rest. And then that would go towards tuition, if that's what that would go towards tuition. And then I have undergrad loans, so I'm familiar with like the student gov website, like portal. So then on September 7th, that 4,060 or whatever the number is would show up on my account on that website as well. Is that how it works?
That it would show up on the studentaid.gov website?
Yeah, like so I've got undergrad loans there, and then I'm just wondering if there would be like a graduate loan section that then that balance would show up. Like, is it all housed, I guess, on that on the studentaid.gov website?
I think it is, correct, Jacqueline?
So Leanne, once that loan disperses, it might take some time for that loan to show up on the studentaid.gov website. But eventually, if you just keep checking, it will. There's no specific timeline of when they post those loans. I know most of the time, if you know who your loan provider is, they'll send you what's called like a quarterly update once that loan has entered into the account. So it's really just one of those check and see kind of things, because we have no control over that. That is the federal government that puts those loans on. But you are correct that with changing the loan amount, once we change it in our system, it will update to the federal system of this is how much the student wants to borrow from that loan for like the fall or the spring term.
Okay, thank you so much.
So because I was actually going to ask something like that too. So essentially we just follow up with you, say, hey, I would like to take this back. I don't need the rest of this. And do we tell you guys that and then it just kind of goes into our loan servicer, or do we have to like do that on our end?
Yeah, so if you have an amount in mind that you're going to need for the fall or the spring term, you can just send me an email saying this is what I want the fall portion of the loan to be. And then we'll update it in the system and it will update for the federal site as well. But also just remember that origination fee. So if you want like $4,000 to actually be dispersed to your account, the loan amount would be a little bit more than $4,000 to account for that origination fee. And we can do all that calculation for you. You just need to tell us how much you want actually dispersed, and we'll tell you how much it needs to be.
Yeah, because I remember I talked to Beth Miller before she went to go teach in South Carolina, that essentially like I'd get my refund, which would be around maybe 6,000-ish because of the 10,000 loan. And then I would say, hey, can you please take back 4,000 of this loan or the refund that I get, because I only need 2,000 for books or anything, because Beth said that we can use this for, of course, school stuff, new laptops, whatever, but also for because I have to move to Asheville. So like anything that's gonna help me get to school or anything like that. So something like if I need help with rent for a little bit, like that type of stuff. She mentioned that to me. Is that correct? That we are able to do that?
Yeah, that refund is your money, yours
Okay.
to do with it. Just remember it, you have to pay it back eventually.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
If you wanted to return any of the refund money that you received, that way we can reduce your loan, you would first need to, and then Jeanette, correct me if I'm wrong, just return that refund to student accounts and they will let me know, and then I will be able to reduce it on my side for the loan.
Okay, yeah, because that was kind of my thought. Like I would get it and then I would contact you, say, hey, can you please take this back? And then it would, you know, make my loan a little bit lesser. So, but I just want to make sure that that was a okay process to do.
Yes. If you don't want the refund, there's two ways you can do it. You can turn that refund back into student accounts and then we will reduce the loan, or you can pay it back to the lender through the lender's website. Just whatever is easiest for you to do. I know people.
I think I want y'all to do it. I think I would much
Yeah.
rather y'all do it. But okay, thank you so much.
And there's no penalty in paying it back earlier, right? So that's good. Yeah. And what is the interest rate going to be for these loans?
Yeah, so for the undergraduate loan, the unsubsidized, the fixed interest rate this year is 6.54%. That graduate plus loan, fixed interest rate is 7.54%.
And that accrues once they start.
Yep, so the unsub and the grad plus, they will accrue interest once those loans have dispersed and once they've started.
Okay. So, other questions, y'all?
I have a question.
Mhm.
If we filled out an application or did the unsubsidized loan interest counseling, when will we get notified if we were rewarded anything for that?
So as soon as you complete those documents, we get the documents 24 hours after you do them. Let's see, have you received your award letter yet?
I received it when I did the initial financial aid, but I haven't received anything after I did the unsubsidized loan.
Okay, because usually the unsubsidized loan is what graduate students are packaged with. Most of the time it's the grad plus loans that students don't really receive notification about because we have to add those on manually, whereas the unsubsidized are automatically given to graduate students once they're packaged.
Okay, thank you. Maybe I had it mixed up.
It's okay. It can be confusing, really. So, but that's what they're here for. That's what we'll post everybody's email addresses as well after this, so that you'll know who to get in touch with if you've got questions. Kind of still lingering, but we still have plenty of time. So yeah, any more questions, y'all? Anything? These are all good questions. And don't feel bad if you're kind of confused or you think you've got the right answers, but you're just not feeling really comfortable with it. So go ahead and speak up, because it's a very confusing process, but these ladies are experts. And so, and Melody, I know, is one of those rare people that likes the FAFSA. So, yes. And so
It's very rare.
it is very, very rare. Yeah. Yeah.
I have been doing the FAFSA for 21 years. I absolutely love doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something y'all will probably never ever hear again from anybody else. So yeah, I remember when I met you, Melody, and you said, yeah, it was just like a puzzle. You love working on it.
Yes.
And love helping everybody. So yeah.
And I will address this last question from Corbin. No, you don't have to worry about the balance that's showing currently in your account. Keep in mind, we will add the charges to your student account, usually the first of the month in which the semester is starting. So August the 1st, I added some fall semester charges. However, your financial aid isn't going to disperse until September the 7th. So for the next month, in a few days, you're going to see that complete balance showing. Once the aid disperses, your current balance will be reduced, and I'll produce updated statements within a couple of days. I try to get most of the refunds processed first. But no, let me back up. If you were using grad loans to pay for your balance, you don't have to worry about it. If you were paying out of pocket or with the 529 plan, the due date is always at least the first day of class. This fall, it was August the 1st. But if you're using loans, you don't have to worry about it. Did that answer your question, Corbin?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
And so when y'all get a chance, be sure to look for that statement and make sure that we've got, I guess, the partner discounts and things on there as well, or alumni advantage discounts. So if y'all should be receiving those, just be sure to keep an eye out for that too. Okay.
And if you think you should be receiving one and you don't see it, that notation is actually put into our system by the graduate admissions. So either either Emily or Marianne Gosnell, any of you who have spoken with her, just reach out and say, hey, I'm working for so-and-so and they're an LR partner, but I don't see it on my account. So they have to put it in their system and then let me know. And then I will reassess your account to get that discount on there.
Yeah. So really just reach out to your enrollment counselor if you don't see the discount. And then we'll make sure that we get it either for Alumni Advantage or LR Partners. And we also have the educational partner. We're starting to create some of those. And so, yeah. Right now it's with St. Augustine's University, Columbia College. I'm trying to think. We've got one in the works with Mars Hill.
Oh, great.
So
Yes.
yeah. So, and as we start to get more and more educational partners, we will also figure out a way to contact y'all, no matter where you are in the program. Once that's signed, and then we'll get your discount maybe applied to the next semester for you. So,
Is that for like a school we've attended in the past? Is that what
it is? Yeah. So we're starting to develop these educational partnerships with some schools.
Oh.
So yeah.
Oh, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you worked at Brevard College by chance?
They are on our list. So we just started with Mars Hill, and Brevard is very much next on the list. So yeah, just trying to get presidents to meet with presidents and go through all of the handshaking and decision making that they do. And then once they let us know that a partnership's done, then we'll reach out to everybody who's come to us from Brevard. And then hopefully we can get that discount that next semester. So usually starts at 10%. So
sweet.
Yeah.
I was rereading your email again, and you said something about us signing the FERPA. I believe I did that, but could you explain what that is again? Because I'm currently on my work break, so I don't have my laptop on me at the moment.
That's fine.
But I don't know if I did that, but I'm pretty sure I did.
Okay, yeah. If you're asking just kind of what the FERPA is.
Yeah, just to remind myself.
Yeah, I don't even. Do y'all ever deal with this, Jeanette or Melody or Jacqueline? Do y'all ever get these? It's just basically a disclaimer, right? So that we aren't gonna, share your information.
Right. It's the acronym is FERPA, and that's the Federal Privacy Right. Once you're 18, even if mom and dad are still paying the bills, you have a right to keep all of your information private. So if there is anyone you want us to be able to talk to your account about, if someone wants to pay your tuition, or you have a spouse or a parent, if you log into LR, choose academics and then the registrar's office, scroll down to the student disclosure form. You can fill it out electronically, and you're giving us permission to speak to someone about your student account and or your financial aid and or your grades. You know, they've got 5 different choices, but one other thing, and I thought of it while you were talking, Michaela, it doesn't really pertain to the FERPA, but if you have, now that you're enrolled, if you have a balance, say from the summer of $2,000 and you just couldn't get it paid, when your fall loan disperses, I cannot, by federal law, cover your summer current balance. You shouldn't have a balance. They're all supposed to be paid by the end of the semester, but reality is sometimes that happens. Your student loan is supposed to only cover your tuition charges during that semester. So if you have a $2,000 balance, I can't cover it. I will have to disperse the full amount to cover your fall. And then you would have to turn around and make a payment to cover your balance. Now, having said that, if you don't pay that balance, you won't be able to enroll in subsequent semesters. But the federal government is really, really picky about your loan dispersal for a semester only covering the charges during that semester. Does that make sense?
Yeah, let me just try to say it on my end so I can understand. So essentially, if I were, because I'm starting this fall, if I were to have taken a summer semester courses of some sort, my loan would not cover that?
Well, not if you have to be enrolled in at least 6 credit hours for the loan to disperse. So like with our OT students, some of their summer semesters are only 3 hours. So their federal loan can't be dispersed during that time. In the past, we would allow their fall loan dispersal to cover that past amount. But the federal government has really cracked down and said, nope, you can only cover that current semester. If you're taking 6 credit hours, then your loan can be divided among summer, fall, and spring. But any semester that you're taking less than 6 credit hours, you're not going to be able to get the grad loan dispersal. So keeping that in mind, if you know there's, like if you're doing a practicum that's only 4 hours and it's coming up, say in the spring, you'll want to make sure that you save enough money from your fall loan dispersal to cover that balance in the spring. So a lot of grad students don't realize you have to be enrolled in at least 6 credit hours to get the federal loans. Now, private loans are different. There are other educational loans out there that don't have that requirement, but the federal government says a minimum of 6 credit hours.
Okay, that seems pretty straightforward, but yeah, so as long as we take 6 credit hours, we could get a federal loan can cover our courses, but if not, then we just have to kind of plan to keep money in order to cover that. Okay, that makes sense. All right, thank you so much.
Sure. Well, I like to make people aware because it usually surprises them the first semester that they're only taking 3 or 4 hours. And it's never fun to hear, hey, I thought this was going to be covered, and now all of a sudden I owe $3,000 and I don't have any funds coming in. You know, we can, worst case scenario, you know, if you're getting your loan the next semester, you could take that refund and pay your previous balance. If you don't pay the previous balance, though, you know, you're stopped in your tracks.
So plan ahead. It's kind of the whole key takeaway there. So yeah. And so for all of y'all, since most of y'all are, you know, starting, you know, new this fall, you know, you're only having to consider the fall and the spring semester. But if you know, when should they start applying for the 23-24 FAFSA? When does that happen?
Melody, doesn't that open in October?
For the FAFSAs, yes.
Yes.
And of course, this current year that we're starting, the 22-23 years based off the 2020 taxes, because you can start filing the FAFSA in October. So this upcoming 23-24 year probably be based off the 2021 taxes.
Okay. Okay. And then y'all will have a meeting with your advisor in, I think it's early November, maybe late October. So you'll have an academic advising meeting, and then you'll register for your spring classes. So you'll know then. But you can also talk to them now if you want to get a really good estimate to see how many classes you think you'll be taking in the spring. And then sometime in March, that's when you're going to be meeting with your academic advisor again. And then you're going to go over your classes. You'll be able to register for both next summer and next fall. And that's usually done in April. So that should give you, a good 6 months out to know how many how much you're going to want to take out on your loans, what's going to cover tuition, or if there are additional fees, and then how much you might have over. This is tricky for teaching students, especially because they take up to 17 credit hours in the summers. So that can be really tricky there because you might not be able to take out that much, in loans, especially if you're doing the 12-month program. If you're doing the 18-month program for teaching, then you should be able to work it out so that you can get your loans covered. But it might mean paying them after you've already taken the classes, like Jeanette was saying. So you may need to take out all the extra for one semester to go back and pay for the previous one. If I didn't just make that sound more confusing than it is, but yeah, so.
And I'm sure everyone is aware of this, but summer is the beginning of the academic year. So your loan for 2023-24 will cover summer 23, fall 23, and spring 24. That's the way LR's academic calendar runs.
And before each new semester, like for the spring, for example, will y'all just be sending out an email sometime in the late fall being like, let us know how much of the loan you want for spring, or should we do that on our own? How does that work?
And that's usually up to the student to send out that email, just because otherwise we're going to assume that you guys want the full amount, because usually that's what grad students either need or want, because a lot of students rely on that refund money. So if you send us an email saying that you want to reduce the amount, then we usually put that responsibility on you guys.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going back to the 2023 and 2024 FAFSA. So if we were to do it coming November, October of this year, we would be going on to, just to repeat, going off of 2021 taxes, or will we have to wait for 2022 taxes?
It would be the 2021 taxes.
Okay, and that's fine, even though that's
okay. Let me rewind for just a second. Okay, it's probably been about 5 or 6 years ago. That's when FAFSA started letting students file the FAFSA in October, because the 22 year will not be done come October. That's why you can't use your 22 taxes. So that's why you use the 21 taxes for the 23-24 FAFSA. That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I've just wait, no, I must have used my 2020 taxes for this FAFSA. So that's probably
correct.
what happened. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. Any other questions? Anything at all? Payment plans or getting that advance, using it for books or laptop or materials, or anything else really.
You guys said that you, in the beginning, can only give us $500 if we need an advancement, right? And then towards September, we get the full refund amount.
Correct. After September the 7th, you'll get the full amount.
September.
Yeah.
Okay.
If there's a dire emergency, we've had students whose cars, crashed on them and they had to get back and forth to work, or their laptop. I've had students come in my office with a shattered laptop, and said, hey, I've got to get this. But the reason we don't do it is that we are advancing new money that we haven't received yet. So that's why we limit it to $500 per student for books, which depending on your program, that may or may not cover it. But in the event of a true emergency, you could reach out, and I can reach out to my supervisor.
Yeah, you have to make sure we're good for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I just think I emailed Jeanette the other day and she said something like I have to actually send her like, yes, I need this for this reason.
Correct.
And I did want to ask, which I haven't sent the email yet, but since I have you here, like, is there any, I guess, negative drawbacks from doing that on my end just to have that extra $500, or it's just really no negative
No,
drawback?
it's no drawback at all, because it's coming from what's going to be your refund. So it's going to just reduce the refund that you're receiving, after the dispersal. But no, we don't look negatively at a student who requires that, because things happen,
Mhm.
Um,
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Do y'all know too, if the bookstore are they doing credit if you do that advance, or if you want to use that in the bookstore? You do that?
Well,
yeah.
The money is just going directly to the student's account, bank account. So they could just order it online, if they wanted to. Occasionally we'll have a grad student who's here in Hickory and says, hey, I'd just rather go to the bookstore. And in that case, it's on a case by case. I can email the bookstore and say, okay, we've got Jan Wolf here who's on campus and she's going to need books. So let's just give her a bookstore voucher. That's typically what the undergrads do, but a lot of our grad students don't purchase their books from the bookstore. They're half.com, Chegg, Amazon. There's so many different places that you can rent books now beside the bookstore. And I'm not trying to take away from our bookstore, because they do try to be competitive, but sometimes you can find a better deal online.
And so for those of y'all who are living near, Hickory campus, it makes sense to use the bookstore if they've got the best price too. So definitely shop around and look. We are doing the same thing here. So I was surprised that some of the prices for the rentals especially were less expensive at our bookstore than they were even on Chegg or Amazon. So
wow, that's great.
Yeah, I know. It really, really was surprising.
And it is convenient.
Yeah.
It is convenient that you don't have to worry about keeping the envelope to return a rental book and getting it back in a timely manner. And the staff in our bookstore anyway are super. They're just so easy to work with.
Yeah.
And I think during the pandemic, they were shipping books that people could order them online and they would, ship them to you. So
yeah, they're still shipping to you if you want to. Okay. But it's a pretty hefty fee. I think for the $12 rental, it was going to be $7.99 shipping to Asheville. So we just thought it would be more fun to just go pick it up. And so if anybody is getting some books from the bookstore and you don't want to pay that shipping fee for them to be mailed to your house, let me know. And we can, we'll have somebody going back and forth, and maybe we can pick them up and bring them to the Asheville Center, and y'all can save that shipping and handling. So just shoot me an email. Yeah, just shoot me an email. We'll figure it out. Yeah. Alrighty, y'all. So any other questions? These have all been really good and everything. I hope that has made everything a little bit more clear about the process. And once you go through it the first time and you get the funds in your account and you're like, oh, this is nothing, this is easy, but right now it's not tangible money. And so it's just also abstract at the moment that I think it kind of stays in that sort of cloud of confusion. So yeah.
And Jan, I want to interject since we still have quite a few participants. Anytime I hear about a program for scholarships for grad students, I try to make that information available. Like when we were talking about the NC Fails, but Veteran Affairs, the VA used to have a wonderful scholarship program for nurse practitioners or physicians assistants or nurses, a very, very generous scholarship program. So, if you're aware of something that we haven't mentioned, please let me know, because we really need healthcare workers and sustainability, grads. And so any way that we can lessen your what you have to pay back, I personally really like sharing that. My daughter's in grad school and she's bemoaning, what she's going to have to pay back here at, through LR, but her grad loans are, pretty extensive. So any way that we can find that will help someone lower their cost, please share that with us so we can let other students know.
Yeah, very good point. And if anybody's looking for work, start with our LR partners, both in Hickory and in Columbia and here in Asheville. And a lot of organizations too, if they're hiring you for a job or even internship, be sure to ask them if they have any employee incentives. I know that if you work for, say, Mission, for example, hospital, they'll help you pay back your loans while you're in school. Biltmore does the same. So there are lots of good organizations that will, they might not be able to give you the salary that they want to give you, so they might have some good benefits. And that is becoming more and more common to see organizations and employers that can say, well, we'll give you $250 a month towards your student loans. So, or might even pay for your tuition. So always ask your employer. And then when you're looking for somebody new, ask about that. Because
good point, Jan, because we have quite a few students who have to pay their tuition up front. But then once they complete the course with a grade of say a B or better, then they get that money refunded to them, because we do the invoices here to show those employers, yes, this has been paid for, the student was here in class, so that they can get, they can get their cost returned.
Yeah. So if you're job hunting, and wanting to know, then it's always a good thing to ask when you're going through your interview or of your current employer. So yeah.
Does it work even if we were to get a job kind of right in the middle of a semester of an LR partner?
It would be something that, you would let me know. I would add it into your file, and then you would get that discount the next semester.
Okay, wonderful. And to go back to something that you said a little bit ago, who is our academic advisor? I know who my enrollment counselor is, which is you.
Yeah.
But I don't know who my academic counselor is. Is that?
Yeah, they'll let you know. Usually what they'll do,
Okay.
Because it's counseling, right, Michaela?
Yes,
Yeah.
counseling.
With counseling, the way we do it in Asheville, you're assigned an advisor about 2 or 3 weeks into the semester.
Okay.
So I think you get an email saying, hi, I'm going to be your advisor. And then let's start planning for the spring semester, and let's just meet at some point. And you'll get that. And they'll know, because I think let me look at the calendar. October 24th, I believe, is when the academic advising begins, and it goes through until November 7th, and then you'll be able to register for your classes too. So.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. All righty, y'all. That's perfect. Perfect timing. Look at y'all. So it's 12 o'clock on the dot. So everybody can go get lunch. Yeah. If y'all think of anything at all, I think I had everybody's emails onto the on the email that directed y'all here, the Zoom link and everything. But do you need me to type anybody's emails in, or do y'all have a way to contact all of us if you have any questions?
I have a way to contact you.
Yes. Okay, good. All righty, y'all. Well,
welcome to LR.
Yeah, welcome here.
Thank you.
Absolutely. It's exciting. We're super excited. I mean, I'm very, very ready for the fall to begin. Yeah, yeah. It's going to be a great one. And y'all have all registered for orientation, I hope, or
Yes.
let us know if you
Yes.
can. Okay, perfect. Well, this will be our first orientation with all of the occupational therapy students and everybody else as well. So it will truly be all, 100 or so of our new students that are joining us in August. So we're excited across all campuses. So it's going to be fun. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Great.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all.
Well, y'all take care
you.
and let me know if
you.
anybody wants a recording of this, just if they want to play it back or anything for
Yes,
some of those pointers. Okay.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'll be happy to. Yeah. I'll try to get to y'all by the end of the day. All righty.
Sounds great. Y'all have a great day.
Yeah, y'all
Thanks.
too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Bailey. Thanks, y'all. Good.